Hi there. Welcome to Studio Movie Recap. Today we are going to recap a thriller film, Don't Breathe. Rocky, Alex and Money, three pals from Detroit, decide to burglarize the mansion of affluent owners, with Alex's successful disablement of security measures in place. They start looting as much high-end property as possible before smashing their way out through a glass door and fleeing the scene. Living with his father, an active policeman who is always away pulling double shifts at the local police station, Alex takes advantage of his father's computer connections to search for rich people he can rob. One of Money's informants informs him about a man who lives alone in a house with over $300,000 hidden somewhere. The man is supposedly a veteran who lost his daughter to a car accident. Rocky sees this as their potential final heist and agrees, but Alex initially disagrees until Rocky convinces him. The three follow the man's house. It's in the ghetto and is the only house there with people. They learn that the man is blind. Alex thinks that blind snatching is a mess, but Money says being blind doesn't mean he's a saint. The man's ferocious dog then jumped on the car door, scaring all of them. That night, the three initiated a robbery. Alex finds a new tattoo on Rocky's wrist, featuring a ladybug. She explained that her father abandoned her family when she was a child, and her mother blamed Rocky. She would cry and be locked in the trunk. At one point, a ladybug flew into the trunk and kept her company. The group moves towards the man's residence, prepared to use money and drugs on his dog as a means of safely entering. Rocky enters first through a small bathroom window to deactivate the security system while her companions wait outside. During this time, Money taunts Alex for having feelings for Rocky. Once inside, Money proceeds upstairs where he discovers that the blind man is sleeping with his television on, though briefly awakened by some noise in the room. Blind man simply switches off his TV before returning to slumbering unawareness, thanks to an effective gas administered by one of their party members earlier on without anyone being disturbed. When the trio encounters a locked basement door, they believe it to be the location of the man's hidden goods. Money proceeds to force open the door, causing the blind man to descend downwards, initially attempting peaceful communication with their target. Money then brandishes his firearm in aggression. The visually impaired man advances towards him as he threatens at gunpoint until ultimately seizing hold of weapon and immobilizing Money against a wall. The blind man asked Money how many people were in the house. Money says it's just him and begs the man to let him go. The blind man let go and shot Mooney in the neck and head. He lays Money's body on the floor while Rocky hides in a closet. The man comes in and opens a safe with his money. As Rocky leaves, he sees the code, 2978. Upon the blind man's move to lock up all doors and windows, Alex seeks out Rocky. The two determine that their sole option is to stealthily enter through the basement and escape via its cellar door leading outside. Initially, Rocky empties a safe of money into her bag before they venture towards the basement. However, upon entering this area, the man appears holding Money's gun, causing them both to remain silent. Upon hearing a phone ring nearby due to an unforeseen circumstance, a quick shot was released from his hand. With caution in mind, Rocky then follows after Alex as he drags away Money's body outdoors. Rocky is surprised by a woman who has been bound to the wall in the basement. Rocky and Alex are frightened, almost abandoning her until she presents them with an article from a newspaper that identifies her as Cindy. The article explains how she had unintentionally killed the daughter of the blind man, yet was found not guilty in court. Feeling empathetic towards Cindy's situation, Rocky and Alex release her and attempt to guide her out through cellar door, but instead they find themselves face to face with blind man who fires his gun at them, hitting Cindy directly into their sight, resulting killing her instantly on spot. Rocky and Alex go into hiding and the man finds out he shot Cindy. He wept on top of her. Screaming with rage, Alex took the man's key and decided to go back to the front door. When he and Rocky went back upstairs, the blind man turned off the lights in the basement, leaving them in total darkness. Rocky and Alex cared for each other when the men shot. Rocky nearly runs into the blind man until Alex calls her name. The blind man grabs Alex and tries to shoot him, but his gun is empty. Alex pushed a shelf towards him and grabbed him. He and Rocky ran upstairs. With a crowbar in hand, Alex secures the door shut. He and Rocky attempt to unlock it but are caught off guard by an awakened dog poised for attack. In their haste to flee from the vicious animal, they confine it to another room. However, as luck would have it, The blind man manages his way out of the basement and assaults Alex brutally with punches before seemingly impaling him using garden shears. Meanwhile, he also renders Rocky unconscious after locating her near about. As Rocky awakens in the basement, he realizes that he is restrained and situated beside Cindy. Despite her pleading with the blind man to realize his actions won't bring back his daughter, she learns a shocking revelation. He had impregnated her as recompense for taking away one of his own children from him. Originally planning on releasing Cindy after their child's birth, everything became jeopardized when she passed away. Since Cindy was dead, now Rocky was going to her place and carry the blind man's baby. He blamed them for death of his unborn baby and wanted them to pay. The blind man punctures through his pants before extracting a baster loaded with semen collected earlier by himself, so he can use it to impregnate Rocky without raping her. Preparing to impregnate Rocky, the man is interrupted by Alex, who has picked up a hammer. With one blow he knocks out the blind man and frees Rocky from his grasp. Using handcuffs they secure him to a nearby pole while she vents her anger by kicking him repeatedly before forcing the baster down his throat. Deciding not to involve law enforcement due to fear of retaliation if reported, they leave without calling for help, keeping in mind that the blind man could use it against them later on as proof of their intrusion into his home. The two turned and went upstairs to leave. They managed to open the front door, but the blind man stood up and shot Alex. When the man let the dog go, Rocky ran away. She ran back to Money's car and tried to get in before the dog grabbed her, but she realized that she dropped the bag in front of the car. Rocky opens the trunk and traps the dog inside so he can get out. Her plan works, and she goes out to get the money, but the blind man comes out and knocks Rocky unconscious again. Rocky is forcefully taken by the blind man to his house, where she receives a morale boost from a ladybug that lands on her hand. Rocky operates the security system's controls and triggers an alarm which diverts the man's attention. Seizing the opportunity, she strikes him repeatedly with a crowbar until he tumbles down into his basement and accidentally discharges his weapon, resulting in getting shot on one side of the body. Finally, Rocky takes the money and left before law enforcement arrives at the blind man's residence. Accompanied by Diddy, Rocky has arrived at Detroit Airport, all set to begin their fresh journey together. However, as they pass a TV screen airing breaking news of the blind man's recent discovery and the revelation that only two intruders had broken into his property, both of whom he dealt with fatally. An anxious Rocky swiftly gathers up Diddy before quickly departing for good without looking back.